News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
It's now 5:05 in the KVNU studios on this Wednesday afternoon. We'll feel right with this local news. Of course, weather as we do remain under this flood watch till tonight, as we have seen some pretty strong thunderstorms, especially up around Bear Lake in Rich County. Seen some heavy rain up there. Well, a week-long search for a 40-year-old Logan man accused of choking his partner and leading authorities on a high-speed pursuit ended with his arrest earlier this week and being booked into the Cache County Jail. Now, Antonio Zarco Orozco, who initially had been sought under the alias of Benigno Carrero Centreros, was located with the assistance of the Tremonton Police Department earlier this week. Now, according to a warrant affidavit, Logan City Police responded back on July 13th after Zarco Orozco had allegedly pinned his partner, choked her, and pushed her into a bookshelf in front of her children. Now, the victim had triggered a 911 call using her phone's voice assistant. Now, Zarco Orozco had fled in the victim's truck, reaching speeds of over 107 miles an hour along Valley View Highway before colliding with another vehicle, injuring two people. Now, he abandoned the truck, fled on foot with a shotgun, and swam across the Benson Marina to try to evade law enforcement. Now, he now faces felony charges, including aggravated kidnapping and aggravated assault. Meanwhile, a Trenton woman is facing 143 charges following a raid at her animal sanctuary, where investigators say they discovered severe biohazardous conditions that resulted in the mass euthanasia of over 140 cats. Now, Melissa Cowley was arraigned last week in Logan's 1st District Court on 143 misdemeanor counts of animal cruelty. Now, the charges all stem from an investigation into the Kitty Haven Sanctuary that's operated out of Cowley's Trenton home. Now, according to court documents, a tip had led Cache County Sheriff's deputies to execute a search warrant back on April 15th. Now, responders seized over 163 cats from the facility where, according to reports, the floors and walls were saturated with animal waste. Now, veterinarians found the majority of the animals were suffering from extreme emaciation, infections, and contagious diseases like feline leukemia virus. Now, due to the severity of the conditions, 143 cats had to be euthanized. Now, Cowley faces up to 6 months in jail per count and is scheduled to appear again in court on August 17th. And finally, multiple Cache Valley municipalities are restricting or banning personal fireworks now ahead of the July 24th Pioneer Day holiday, citing extreme fire danger and recent brush fires. Now, the decisions follow updated guidance and approvals from the Utah State Forester. Now, Logan and Providence cities have both enacted total personal fireworks bans following recent grass fires in both areas. Now, minor novelties like sparklers still remain permitted, and scheduled commercial shows will still proceed as planned. Now, North Logan has also instituted a total ban on personal fireworks due to highly flammable dry grasses and extreme fire behavior potential along the East Bench. The city's permitted public display at Elk Ridge Park, though, remains scheduled under the fire department being on standby. Now, other communities are restricting fireworks by geography. Hyde Park has banned all 1.4G fireworks within the city limits from July 22nd through the 25th, and instead is only allowing small novelties west of 400 East. While in Smithfield, Mayor Aaron Rudy and Fire Chief Jeremy Hunt have shrunk the allowable discharge zone away from the East Bench and agricultural areas, with violators facing fines of up to $1,000. Now, conversely, Nibley officials are permitting fireworks west of State Route 165, excluding public parks. Well, we do remain under this flood watch, as we could still see some scattered showers, thunderstorms through the rest of the afternoon into tonight, as temperatures have been cooler today, as we've been in the mid-80s, and now tonight we're going to drop into the low 60s, then be back into the mid-80s for tomorrow. Looks like 90s will return on Friday. And your weather forecast brought to you by Cardall's Insulation. You know, proper insulation can keep your home's temperature more consistent and help keep your home a little bit more quiet. Call Cardall's Insulation today at 755-5012. And I'll have another check of local news coming up at the bottom of the hour, as KVNU News Time is now 5:09, and it's more of KVNU's For the People show with Jason Williams next.
My friend John Hansen at the Duct Hunter has constantly educated you about the need for ductwork cleaning in your home. But what about your cabin or summer home outside the valley? You need that home's ductwork clean too. With high pollen counts in the mountains, dust always in the wind, and road construction ever present, the old adage of out of sight, out of mind is bad. Give the Duct Hunter a call at 770-4813 to clean out those dirty ducts in your summer home.
We are the Duct Hunter. Breathe better, save money, protect your home.
News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Finding comfort outdoors by upgrading your landscape is easy with the creative touch of Canyon Landscaping. Imagine beautifully designed planting beds, an outdoor patio with landscape lighting to help you relax, entertain, and enjoy your home. Your project designed around your lifestyle and professionally installed, on budget and on time. See their work at canyonlandscaping.com or call 752-3838 to get started right away. Canyon Landscaping. Look for the leaf.
We're here with Chuck, founder of Dollar Loan Center. Why is it so important for Logan Ogden customers to deal with a licensed, regulated, direct lender?
A lot of lenders may look legit, but they are not, especially online. Borrowers need to be careful to deal with lenders who are licensed and regulated by the state of Utah, who really lend their own money and aren't just lead generators.
And Dollar Loan Center is a direct lender?
Yes, we've been around 28 years, Utah licensed, and I actually lend out my own money. We are extremely transparent, fair, and always guarantee to beat the rate of our competition. And our customers' Bill of Rights is in writing at don'tbebroke.com, and we never charge to apply.
Dollar Loan Center lends up to $5,000 in minutes. Stop by in Logan, Ogden, or any of our 15 Utah locations to meet our real friendly staff. You can also apply over the phone or online at don'tbebroke.com.
Licensed by the Utah Department of Financial Institutions. Subject to approval. Limitations may apply. See website for details.
This is Ryan at My Mattress, and we're right in between Independence Day and Pioneer Day. We live in the greatest state in the greatest country ever formed. At My Mattress, we're going to celebrate like crazy with our biggest sale of the year. Purple Mattress, Tempur-Pedic, and Sealy Posturepedic are American companies. And during this sale, let's celebrate and sell these for even cheaper than those silly imported box beds. July 4th through July 24th, patriotism and saving money. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally? Only at My Mattress.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Thursday on This Morning, America's First News. The search for diplomacy continues in the Middle East. We'll have the latest. Also, states are pushing back against President Trump's claims about election fraud. Hear what they're saying in California, Michigan, and New Jersey. Plus, if you think it's expensive here, find out what they pay elsewhere for things like iPhones and the money needed for retirement. Thursday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Coming up this hour, yet another mid-show change. Just having some bad luck with this week. For good reason, though. There is we'll talk more about this on a future show as well, but there is a ribbon cutting happening for a cancer center. And the guests we had planned, representatives of Logan City, a representative of Logan City who also serves on the Cashwater District Board, and one of her colleagues, both tied up in that. And so we will actually be postponing that until Monday. Again, for those just tuning in, a little teaser on this. One of the questions I asked, one of the things we're going to talk about, this long-term discussions over new reservoirs, new water storage options here in northern Utah, things like that. And really just kind of asking, what are the options? And then remember, further compounding this, you have a lot of the Wasatch Front and the planning happening in other parts of the state that salivating, literally, especially in the hot summer months, over the water in the Bear River region, which includes Bear Lake, Cache Valley, and parts of Wyoming and Idaho. and how to get, so they're having conversations like, how do we get more of that water down here? And we're up here trying to say, how do we plan for Cache Valley's long-term future, considering the growth projections and more different, similar, but very different set of concerns for the Bear Lake Valley, where they're having conversations about the same thing, sustainability, not overusing the lake, so they're not dealing with Great Salt Lake problems one day. All these conversations are happening simultaneously, and so a really great question is, what are the options? And so we're going to postpone that conversation, but it does give me a chance to tease it. We'll do that on Monday's show instead of today, due to the scheduling conflict. And Jeannie, if you're out there listening, I forgive you. So she can't hear me right now. She's at a ribbon cutting. This was so we are going to talk about water still. If you've ever been to Lake Powell but haven't been for a while, a kind of horrifying set of photos shared today. This came along as announcements of a new Great Salt Lake Czar. I'm going to continuously call them that because I think it's funny, but it's a serious position, and it's been held until this year by Brian Steed, who also heads up the USU Institute of Land, Water, and Air, and it's a position that has been pretty important in legislative debates, not just for the statewide, but for Cache Valley specifically. And we have a new person in that role. We'll talk about who this person is and what happens next, and what the new Great Salt Lake Commissioner, that's the actual title, where they plan to take Brian Steed's legacy on this as the state continues to ramp up funding and planning to rescue the lake. So that's coming up later on this hour. But and again, these photos from Lake Powell that were shared alongside this announcement today, horrifying. The water situation in this state is a crisis. So alongside that, governors say, oh, yay, it's getting political, right? Governors are now butting heads over the, at this point, kind of broken down conversations around the Colorado River, the multi-state discussions that have been going on there. Just not a lot of great headlines for water. We'll talk about them after the news at the bottom of the hour. I wanted to start things out here today with something that is a little more, that's going to make you feel a little better, hopefully, about your week. We all know, the tragic news from flash flooding in southern Utah. The 5 members of a family, basically the entire family but one, killed in Wayne County flash flood. And funeral service for the 5 family members will be held in Orem next week. That's the plan that was announced today. This is the family of Provo Fire Captain Spencer Long. Killed in that flash flood was Spencer himself, his wife Katrina, and their sons, Reed, Thane, and Gage, young children, and died in a flash flood that hit Wayne County campground area last Friday. Provo officials announced this morning the public memorial service will be held. It'll be July 29th at Utah Valley University's UCCU Center. It'll be at 10 a.m. They expect, people from around the state to maybe want to be a part of this. Again, just a tragic mother and father, a teen boy, preteen boy, and I don't know exact ages, just going off the photo here, and then a young boy. And then further compounding the tragedy, leaving behind a daughter, single sole survivor of the family. So we talked yesterday about a GoFundMe that has been set up with a $250,000 goal, and linked to that on our Facebook page. They're at about 242 last I looked earlier today. In Washington, D.C. today, this was part of the discussion. This was Representative Burgess Owens and Representative Mike Kennedy from here in Utah. And they spoke about the tragedy, honored Provo Fire Captain Spencer Long and his family, and just basically took a minute of personal privilege time on the United States House floor. And, here's a bit of audio of what both Representative Burgess Owens and Representative Mike Kennedy, just warning you a little bit, Representative Owens refers to the surviving daughter several times as Linda. Her name is Lydia, but the sentiment of what they had to say still worth hearing.
I rise today in honor a beloved Utah family whose lives were lost this past week in a flash flood in Wayne County. Provo Fire Captain Spencer Long, his wife Katrina, and their 3 sons, Reed, Thane, and Gage, were camping when they were caught in flood waters. They were survived by their daughter and sister Linda, who now faces unmanageable loss. Mr. Speaker, the Longs are among the very best Utah has to offer. Utahns mourn together. Words will never be able to adequately express the profound loss that Linda is now experiencing. On behalf of Utah, we offer our deepest condolences to her, the Provo Fire Department, the city of Mona, and all those who love the Longs. To many, the thought of continuing without them is unimaginable. Yet we hold fast in Heavenly Father's promise that the Lord is near unto them that are a broken heart. Today we pray that His presence be especially near to Linda and all those who mourn. I ask you to join me in a moment of prayer, of silence.
Again, that was audio of just a few minutes that Representative Burgess Owens and Representative Mike Kennedy requested and were granted by the House Speaker today to mention and honor the family, speak about, again, Provo Fire Captain Spencer Long and his wife Katrina and their sons Reed, Thane, and Gage, all killed in a flash flood that hit Wayne County campground last Friday. It's something that for obvious reasons is I think touched everybody in the state that's heard about it, and again just the trying to put yourself, you can't really, but just trying to put yourselves in the shoes of this young woman, Lydia, as she processes her entire family dying in this flight, gone in one day, and it's just heartbreaking. Absolute accident, and something no one really could have been entirely prepared for, or just can't even imagine. So, again, if you can, if you can't, at least share it. Link to the GoFundMe for Lydia's on our Facebook page. The goal again to raise $250,000. They say this will cover housing costs and funeral and memorial expenses that she'll have to deal with, and then also give her some financial breathing room as she adjusts to being the sole survivor of this family. So, link on the Facebook page, link to that audio from the House floor, the video from the House floor, if you'd actually like to see Representative Burgess Owens and Representative Mike Kennedy there on the House floor as Representative Owens made those remarks, on our Facebook page. And we'll be back with more of KVN News for the People right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
This is Ryan at My Mattress, and we're right in between Independence Day and Pioneer Day. We live in the greatest state in the greatest country ever formed. At My Mattress, we're going to celebrate like crazy with our biggest sell of the year. Purple Mattress, Tempur-Pedic, and Sealy Posturepedic are American companies. And during this sale, let's celebrate and sell these for even cheaper than those silly imported box beds. July 4th through July 24th, patriotism and saving money. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally? Only at My Mattress.
Hey Utah, have you heard? Nuclear energy might be coming to our state. Now, before your brain jumps straight into sci-fi movies, let's talk about what nuclear actually does. Nuclear technology helps power our nation's submarines, supports life-saving cancer treatments, and produces reliable electricity for millions of homes. That said, nuclear power also comes with a lot of misconceptions. Don't worry, we get it. Energy decisions matter, and Utahns deserve the facts. Learn more about nuclear and what it can mean for you. Visit energy.utah.gov/nuclear.
I'm Larry Gelwitz, the getaway guru with Morris Columbus Travel and Apple Vacations, with double discounts on your air and hotel packages to the sunny beaches of Hawaii and Mexico, to Europe and the Caribbean, and you save like never before. And for the best travel deals on the planet, give us a call at Morris Columbus Travel.
Come on and get away, Morris Columbus.
This is Lee. For years, Cache Valley has trusted Lee's Plumbing to take care of your plumbing needs. And now we're teaming up with Any Hour Services to provide even more support to Cache Valley homeowners. Mike?
Thanks, Lee. I'm Mike Wilson from Any Hour Services. We're excited to team up with Lee's Plumbing, giving homeowners one team to call for plumbing, drains, heating, cooling, and electrical.
Same trusted service, more ways to help around your home. Lee's Plumbing
and Any Hour Services.
Better together. Schedule your service today.
Hi, I'm Nixie Christensen, your Cache County's junior queen. I want to invite you to the Cache County Fair and Rodeo, August 5th through the 8th. Along with the Carnival, 4-H Junior Livestock Exhibit, and 4 nights of fun at the rodeo are all reasons we are a 6-time Best of Northern Utah Gold winner. So come on out this August 5th through the 8th and don't miss out on the action. I can't wait to see you there.
So come on out, let's have some fun at the Cache County Fair.
Great question from a listener. I mentioned that we had news today that the Long family had announced through the Provo City and Provo fire officials that some funeral and memorial services have been planned for the Long family. Again, for those just tuning in, the Provo Fire Captain Spencer Long, his wife Katrina, and their sons Reed, Thane, and Gage, killed in a flash flood last Friday. Leaving behind one surviving family member, Lydia Long, and just, understandably has grabbed the attention of everyone in the state. Full-on tragedy all around. And GoFundMe has been set up for Lydia to raise a goal of $250,000 for funeral and memorial expenses, but also housing costs, and to buy her some financial breathing room as she transitions into life as the sole survivor of this family. I can't even imagine being in those shoes. But I mentioned the funeral service announcements. The listener asked, is that public? Yes, kind of. So the announcement was that there would be a private graveside service limited to family and friends only. But ahead of that, on Wednesday, July 29th, at 10 a.m. at Utah Valley University's UCCU Center. That's right in the center of campus. 10 a.m., July 29th, it's a Wednesday, at Utah Valley University's UCCU Center. The public memorial services will be held. According to the announcement that was released by the family, they say the family expressed deep appreciation to the outpouring of support from the public. They welcome all who wish to celebrate the lives of this beloved couple and their children, and they're inviting the public, anyone interested, to attend the memorial service. That's why they've secured such a large location, anticipating a large response from around the state of those who may want to attend. It will not be televised or live streamed for the public. But they say anybody who is coming, if they do want to film the procession, they're welcome to do that. There's going to be a pretty significant procession. Just tragic. And if you want to attend the memorial service, the public memorial service, again, it's Wednesday, July 29th, 10 a.m., at Utah Valley University. Will not be televised or live streamed, but the public is invited. And If you want to help in other ways, again, link to the GoFundMe on our Facebook page, or you can simply at GoFundMe.com search for the Long family's name, and you'll find them that way as well. This is another question from a listener asking the same question. I'll just repeat. No, the memorial service will not be televised, live streamed, or otherwise, but they have invited the public to attend the memorial service. Again, 10 a.m., Wednesday, July 29th, Utah Valley University's UCCU Center. So I'll post that information on our Facebook page if you are driving now by chance and want to find it there later. Before we go to the news, I just wanted to just a quick mention. I mentioned the fires in Roy, believed to be sparked by the front runner train that runs through basically the backyards of some neighborhoods, in some of the older neighborhoods in Roy. And that fire burned up through the fence, through a couple of homes, several homes damaged. This was Monday afternoon, if I remember correctly. I know it was Monday. But a story has come out of that didn't make the original news reporting, and I just want to highlight this guy because there's some photos and video that go along with this. Fox 13 News has them on their webpage. But this guy just deserves a mention. As this fire was burning, this little, it's like a 4 or 5 home, grouped homes. They're sort of all grouped together in this little neighborhood, and all of them were damaged. Some severely, some just a bit. As this burned quickly from the railroad tracks up through their backyard fences into their yards, and then beyond their yards, headed towards neighbors' homes before it was under control. And these homes are just on the hill, basically near the Roy Front Runner Station. If you're familiar with the area, if you've ever ridden Front Runner, you've driven past these homes. But a man named Robert Fisher was apparently just coming back home from errands, out grocery shopping, he said, when he saw smoke from the hill behind their homes. And in a matter of seconds, he said the smoke had doubled. And he realized that this wasn't just, a backyard grill or something like that. He said this was a pretty impressive fire within seconds. And he saw that there were actually 3 separate fires burning. And he grabbed his garden hose, threw it over the fence, jumped the fence, and started spraying everything he could. There's video of this. Video shows this man with his garden hose out fighting the fire itself on his neighbors' fences, trying to save their homes. And he told Fox 13, he said, I could feel embers bouncing off my face in the heat. And he said, as the fire continues, he said, I watch it actually get to my yard. I watch my son's trampoline melt. And he said it just went through, 3 different yards. And, he said that, he's sad for his neighbors, but pretty heroic move. His house ended up being okay. His backyard did get some damage, and neighbors interviewed by Fox 13 journalists said that they were extremely thankful for Fisher. They said, I don't really talk much to people around my neighborhood because everybody knows each other already. And but he said his efforts that day probably did a lot to reduce the damage to our house and our fire. And then Fisher, for his part, said the reason he put himself out there to try and do what he could with a garden hose to keep the fire at bay until fire crews arrived. He said that just a few years ago, he said 13 years ago, that they lost about 95% of everything they owned to a house fire. And he said, so my first thought was making sure this didn't happen to any of my neighbors, if I could prevent it in any way. So Fisher's efforts are credited with at least reducing the amount of damage as he was able to get some water on some of the smaller fires before they turned into bigger ones. And, of course, the ones he couldn't get under control just, continued to burn. But they say he likely saved a lot of money, at least, in repair costs for some of his neighbors. So, and again, there's video of this guy just without thinking, grabbing his garden hose and hopping the fence to save his neighbors' yards. Cool stuff. Link to it on our Facebook page, and we'll be back. Talk a little bit about the new Great Salt Lake Czar, what it means for Cache Valley, and a pretty horrifying set of photos that were released today from the Lake Powell area, and what this means for the future of recreation at Lake Powell, if there is going to be any left. Not really being dramatic saying that. We'll talk about it after these headlines with KVNU's Will Feel Right.
Well, thank you, Jason. First responders gathered yesterday to honor Provo Fire Captain Spencer Long and his family, escorting their bodies from Taylorsville to Spanish Fork following a tragic hiking accident. Now, Captain Long, along with his wife Katrina and their 3 sons, were found dead over the weekend near a Wayne County campground after being caught in severe flash flooding during a canyoneering trip. Now, Provo Fire Chief Jeremy Hedman said that Spencer was one of the people in their department that just did everything. First responders lined overpasses along I-15 as Provo Fire and Rescue escorted the family from the medical examiner's office to a Utah County funeral home. Now, funeral services for the entire Long family are scheduled to take place next week. The only surviving member of that family is a daughter, Lydia. Well, human remains that were discovered in the Grand Canyon last December have been identified as a hiker who went missing more than a decade ago. Now, DNA testing conducted by the Arizona Department of Public Safety confirmed the identity of the remains back on July 1st, according to the Coconino County Sheriff's Office. Now, the remains belong to William Ott, who disappeared back in May of 2012. Now, at the time, Ott had failed to return from a hike, prompting a multi-agency search involving the National Park Service and the Arizona Department of Public Safety. However, despite the search efforts, Ott's body was never located until this last December, when the remains were found in the general area where the original search had taken place. Now, the remains were subsequently turned over to the sheriff's office and medical examiner for DNA analysis. As far as the cause of death, that is still being investigated. An attempted murder and domestic violence charges against a Washington County jail inmate have been dismissed now following his death, according to court documents. Jose Lopez Garcia was found unconscious from self-inflicted wounds while being housed alone in his cell. Now, medical personnel initiated life-saving measures, and Garcia was transported to St. George Regional Hospital, where he was released on his own recognizance. Now, officials have not confirmed whether he died from the initial injuries or a subsequent incident. Now, Garcia was arrested June 28th after allegedly beating his girlfriend. Prosecutors upgraded the charges to attempted murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault after the victim suffered a life-threatening brain bleed requiring surgery and fractured ribs. Well, tonight we'll see temperatures drop into the low 60s as we've enjoyed some cooler temperatures today, and it looks like we'll have one more day of temperatures in the mid-80s. That'll be coming up tomorrow. 90s will be returning on Friday, and it looks like we're going to see a hot weekend as temperatures are going to be in the 90s for Saturday and Sunday. And congratulations to Brittany Lewis, a CNA and hospice nurse, our latest Above and Beyond Salute winner. A listener had nominated Brittany, telling us how she works largely with the elderly population who suffer from dementia. They also said that she is compassionate and caring, treating others just like family. So to say thanks, we gave her a $40 gift card last week to Firehouse Subs. And of course, you can always submit a nomination for the Above and Beyond Salute by just going to our website, kvnutalk.com. I'll have another check of local news coming up in an hour. For KVNU News, I'm Will Feelright.
ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. Tropical storm Bertha is weakening as it moves west across Louisiana after it made landfall earlier this afternoon. Governor Jeff Landry says the storm isn't the worst they've seen, but it still should be taken seriously.
It doesn't take a major hurricane to do major damage in communities in Louisiana. So today's forecast is encouraging, but it doesn't mean that we should be complacent.
President Trump was at Dover Air Force Base to attend the dignified transfer of those 4 U.S. service members killed in the Middle East last week.
Oh, it's very tough to watch, to be honest with you. Very tough. I think it's the toughest thing I do. If anything I do all this stuff, but I think it's the toughest thing I do.
Trump also used the event to defend the war in Iran, claiming that all of the fallen soldiers had echoed his war claims. Right now, the U.S. military is launching its 12th straight night of attacks on Iranian targets. This is ABC News.
Did you know you can cut your Rocky Mountain power bill by 40 to 50% without a single solar panel? With the new time of use rates, power is 4.5 times more expensive in the evening, but cheap during the day. At Greenbox Solar, we install smart home batteries that charge up when electricity is cheap, then power your home during peak hours. Solar is totally optional and can be added in the future, but savings are guaranteed. Drop by Greenbox Solar's showroom in South Logan to see the hardware for yourself. Visit our website at poweredbygreenbox.com.
Oh, we live in a great area. Are you just back from a camping trip? Don't take your sleeping bags to the dry cleaner. Come to Mount Logan Laundry. For just a few quarters, our 55 or 80-pound washers and 80-pound dryers will have those bags clean for your next trip. Mount Logan Laundry has free Wi-Fi and drop-off service, plus they're open until midnight. Mount Logan Laundry really is the cleanest spot in town. Find them at 5th East and 9th North in Logan or in Brigham City on the corner of 1st East and 7th South. Mount Logan Laundry.
Got a junk vehicle just sitting there? It's worth money right now. DD Auto and Salvage in Logan is paying top dollar for junk cars, trucks, farm rigs, and scrap metal, and they'll even come pick it up. DD Auto and Salvage handles any kind of metal recycling. Junk cars, scrap, large cleanups, you name it. With tow trucks, roll-off bins, and heavy equipment, no job is too big. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204. DD Auto and Salvage, turning junk into serious cash.
Bring back what you've been missing. Bring back Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology.
Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology is Cache Valley's most trusted name in hearing aid technology. Schedule a free hearing evaluation with Dr. Paul Daines, where he can customize a hearing improvement program to meet your needs. Call 753-HEAR or visit CacheHearing.com.
Bring back what you've been missing. Bring back Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology.
Hi, this is Chris Wilson of Wilson Motor Company. It's the final days of our 83rd anniversary sale, our biggest sales event of the year. We have reduced prices on over 330 Ford, Nissan, and pre-owned vehicles. Check out our inventory online at wilsonmotor.com or drop in for a test drive at one of our two great locations, 328 North Main or our pre-owned superstore next to the Olive Garden. Hurry in, the 83rd anniversary sale ends on August 1st.
Wilson Motor Company, we make car buying easy.
The Ramsey Show.
So basically for the past year, I've been living with my girlfriend at her mom's house. I think we have enough to buy our first home.
No, don't do that.
No.
Never buy a house with someone you're not married to, under any circumstances. You're about to get yourself in a huge mess. Yeah, you complicate the breakup like nobody's business. Mm-hmm. You gonna buy a house with her, you better put a ring on it first, buddy.
You know, that's a lot of money that we gotta spend on the wedding.
Dominic, it's legally dumb and it's financially stupid.
Dave Ramsey, evenings on KVNU 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Before we get to more water talk, some images and video from Lake Powell showing really just how bad things are down there. But the story these photos go along with is a story of overwhelmed marinas and real concern for the future of recreation at Lake Powell due to the water levels, something that is a big part of the economy there in the area. For example, a lot of restaurants and hotels don't believe that they would survive if it wasn't for summertime recreation at the lake, and they're starting to see the dwindling numbers in visitors due to the water levels. So we'll talk about that alongside of an announcement of a new Great Salt Lake Czar. Also, the breakdown of conversations over the Colorado River, a multi-state conversation that's been happening for years, has kind of turned into a circus. And now, yay, it's getting political, at least on social media, with governors posting jabs at each other from these state negotiations. Anyway, we'll get to that. Before we do, this was just sent to me by a listener. I hadn't noticed this. An update has been provided by the family of the woman who was over a week ago, mother of 3 children, who lost both her legs, had both legs amputated after an accident at Bear Lake. She was, as I understand it, the She was tubing, and something caught. She was pulled under the boat and struck by the propeller. Her legs were basically, it led to, of course, a quick trip to the hospital, immediate surgery, and the bilateral amputation of both of her legs. An update from the family that was posted to the GoFundMe page, sent to me by a listener just now. Appreciate that as well. This is a verified GoFundMe page that was set up to raise money for the family and their, the medical costs that are going to be associated with this. Update from a family member reads, "Thank you all so much for your kind words, prayers, and of course donations to this GoFundMe. I'd like to give you an update. It's been a week been more than a week after undergoing 3 surgeries. Everything has gone well, and want to thank the wonderful medical staff. She is on her way to recovery. She has a long road ahead of her, not just being an amputee, but a double amputee. She is going to, the family is going to need to rehome. Basically, it sounds like where they lived is not a place they can live any longer due to the needs she'll have as a double amputee. And so they're going to have to find a new home after rehabilitation. And that's going to include the whole family having to find a new home. The victim of the tragedy herself and husband and kids. And so they are, apparently she was able, for the first time, according to, this is from Beatrice Garcia, a family member. Apparently she was able to get into a wheelchair for the first time, and that was a big step. And that she's also, of course, long out of ICU surgical and has been for the last few days on the rehabilitation floor at the hospital. And physical therapy is beginning tomorrow, apparently. So, again, this is a lengthy process, and it's going to be weeks as she continues to heal and recover. They're asking for people to keep the family in their thoughts and prayers. And, of course, if you can donate or at least share the GoFundMe, the medical costs from this alone are going to be significant, without saying. So they have posted this GoFundMe. If you go to GoFundMe.com and search "Support a Mom of 3 After Tragic Boating Accident," you'll find it. I've also posted a link to it on our social media channels. And just an update there again from a family member. Sounds like everything with the surgeries has gone well, and that they are transitioning her into the physical therapy, recovery, and basically learning how to live without legs stage of this whole process. But again, it's going to be long, and again, the news that it's obvious that the family's going to have to find a new home where they'd been living, apparently not going to be workable for them at this point with her new needs after a double amputation. So, again, link to the GoFundMe on our Facebook page, or go to GoFundMe.com and just search for "Support a Mom of 3 After Tragic Boating Accident." That is a verified GoFundMe set up by a friend of the family, Sarah Wadrich, and family member Beatrice Garcia for Maria Garcia. So, again, a link on our Facebook page and a little update there for you. So, shifting gears now, this was a big announcement today. This is a position that has always had kind of a Cash Valley tie to it, and unfortunately, after he decided to step down from the position, not going to be the case any longer, but still a USU tie, at least. Hannah Freeze was named by Governor Cox today to take over for USU's Institute of Land, Water, and Air Director Brian Steed, who has several years now served as the Great Salt Lake Commissioner, overseeing the state's effort to save the Great Salt Lake. Freeze recently served as Deputy Commissioner under Steed, so she's not new to this entirely. Her position is active immediately as soon as the governor announced it today. She's also worked previously in the state's agricultural water optimization programs and the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food. Through their funding, has worked closely with farmers and ranchers and help them adapt to and find financing for new technologies to grow the same crops with less water. So this is a very experienced person. Governor Cox, in his announcement today, said Hannah understands that protecting the Great Salt Lake requires cooperation from people all across the basin. And in the statement said she's earned the trust, especially in the agricultural community, producers, water users, conservation leaders, and even state and federal partners have gotten to know her over the years. He said her experience, practical approach, and ability to bring people together will be invaluable as Utah continues this important work. The reason this is so noteworthy is if you remember, we talked about this on the show and even spoke with Utah Farm Bureau president who lives here in northern Utah, Cache Valley specifically, and works in agriculture himself still. That one of the issues that they kept running into with this Save the Great Salt Lake effort is that those in agriculture kind of felt like they were being targeted, that they were the bad guys, that, it was all their fault. The lake was drying up and was at unhealthy water levels and all of that. And so they were being asked, they felt, to kind of give up their livelihood, take one for the team would be an understatement at that point. Basically give up everything they know and the way they pay their bills and feed their families in order to save the lake. And a lot of the agricultural community was kind of balking at that, about, as being painted as the bad guy. Considering they all knew that they'd done a lot over the years to use as little water as possible. But also, as the Farm Bureau president told us, many people in agriculture actually are some of the most responsible people when it comes to land, water, and air in the first place, because no one respects the importance of land, water, and air more than someone that makes a living growing something. Because you need all of those. And if you don't have one of those three, you don't grow anything. So this has led to some butting of heads and some breakdowns and even some signs that maybe progress was being slowed because, again, people in the agricultural community felt that this entire effort was singling them out rather than trying to bring them in and make them partners in all of this. So I think this is one of the smartest decisions that the governor has made, because Hannah Freeze, the person he named as the new Great Salt Lake commissioner, not that Brian Steed did anything wrong, but he was someone who knew the science, came from academia, and did an amazing job. I don't think anybody is better than Brian at navigating kind of keeping a conversation productive in a room full of really opinionated and sometimes obstinate lawmakers. Very, very good at that. What Hannah brings to the table is a little different, and that's literal ties and a relationship of trust that's already been built up with the majority of the agricultural community here in Utah. So I think this is huge. I think this is a step on the governor's part to directly address those in the agricultural community who kind of felt like they were being singled out by the conservation efforts, to say to them basically, okay, here's someone someone you trust, someone you've worked with before on these water optimization technology programs, crop programs, the Utah Department of Ag and Food, previously, again, overseeing the state's agricultural water optimization program for the state. This is someone that the farmers have met, the ranchers have met, and they have a relationship with. And now she'll oversee this effort. A great step, I think, to assuage those concerns that the agricultural community had, that they were being kind of scapegoated as the causers of this whole problem. It's a difficult one because agriculture does use more than 80% of our water use each year goes to agriculture. Kind of important to grow food, though, right? Kind of important to grow crops. Hay, still pretty important in most parts of Utah. Feed those animals. And to not have to buy it from like northern Idaho. So agriculture is still a really big part of our economy. And I think even more important, we don't get anywhere with water conservation or saving the Great Salt Lake if we don't bring the agricultural community along in a way that doesn't cut into their livelihood or their personal prosperity. So this, I think, is a huge move. Smart decision on the governor's part. If you want to read more about Hannah Freeze, I've linked to some of her profile from the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food on our Facebook page. And we'll be back on the other side to talk about these scary pictures out of Lake Powell today that were released alongside a news report that, they're seeing dwindling recreation tourism. And a lot of the business owners are really worried as you see these pictures of, to call them dry marinas is an understatement. We'll talk about what might happen going forward and what the options are for the community right after this.
Northern Utah, this is attorney Jace Allen, and thank you for voting the Allies Law Firm Gold winner in 5 categories of the best of Northern Utah, including estate planning, family law, criminal defense, personal injury, and best law firm overall. Whether you need help protecting your family, navigating divorce, defending your rights, or pursuing justice after an injury, our team is here to help. From all of us at the Allies Law Firm, thank you for your support and your vote. The Allies Law Firm. We plan, we fight, you win.
Some sounds just belong together. The roar of the rodeo crowd, the rumble of a hard-working truck, and the biggest truck sale of the year. It's time for West Motor Company's Rodeo Days sale. Save up to $18,000 on select Ram half-tons and up to $13,000 on select heavy duties. Or drive home a new Ford with 0% financing for 36 months, plus $1,000 toward your first payment. Every qualifying purchase includes rodeo tickets and rodeo jackets while supplies last. The biggest savings of the year are now during Rodeo Days at West Motor Company in Preston.
West Motor Company.
Planning a summer getaway, or do you have friends and family arriving in Logan? Whether it's hiking, biking, fishing, family vacations, outdoor concerts, or exploring beautiful Cache Valley, you need a great place to stay. The absolute best deal in town is the Bomb Hotel and the Aggie 79 special. Stay for just $79 per night. Enjoy clean, comfortable rooms, friendly service, and outdoor pool, plus a free full breakfast for just $79 with Aggie 79. Call 752-5220, 752-5220, and book your summer stay today.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Thursday on This Morning, America's First News. The search for diplomacy continues in the Middle East. We'll have the latest. Also, states are pushing back against President Trump's claims about election fraud. Hear what they're saying in California, Michigan, and New Jersey. Plus, if you think it's expensive here, find out what they pay elsewhere for things like iPhones and the money needed for retirement. Thursday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
Wrapping up today's show with, you should go check it out. I've linked to it on our Facebook page. The Associated Press today with a story including a lot of photos. The story focused mainly in the beginning on Lake Powell's now landlocked marinas, photos of marinas that are a good 50 feet at least from anything that looks like water. And Lake Powell, by the way, is currently about 23% full. That's about nearly 40 feet, 10 meters from reaching the marinas that traditionally were just packed every summer. Now, I haven't been down there since like 2012, so it's been a while for me, but I was never a huge fan, big secret. But this is it's pretty dire, and so the Associated Press story focuses on how now every visitor is being crunched into a greatly reduced number of marinas. It's causing long lines. It's causing there's a story of a gigantic police response that was required after a fight broke out near Bullfrog Bay, and the story itself goes on to detail some of the concern in the community as people begin to have more unpleasant experiences due to the dwindling Lake Powell water levels. They're worried that it's going to be less of a destination. And as one restaurant owner quoted in the Associated Press story says, my entire family depends on this restaurant making a profit, at least something. And without it, we just simply can't stay here. We would have to move elsewhere and find something else to do for a living. So, yeah, for a lot of people, I think it's just, nowhere to take the boat. Got to wait in a long line at a marina. There is this other side of it where there's an entire economy built around the tourism that Lake Powell has always represented and always fostered. And real concern now that these dwindling water levels and the future of the Colorado River itself, which states are now butting heads over on Twitter. So that's great. That's getting political, too. A lot of people are scared about what this means for the future of life in these areas. Check the photos out. It's pretty stark. I've linked to them on our Facebook page. That's our show for today. Stick around. Dave Ramsey is next here on KVNU Logan.